Hello guys, Mr. Agophobia. So last video I did was a build of the new rifle gear set, and because I was like tinkering around with rifles and marksman rifles, I thought I'd put a different type of build together with the new brand set, and to my surprise it actually hit really hard. I'll show you in the background the gameplay, but you won't believe what gear set I'm actually using, which is ancient to these days. But if you want to know what the build is, stick around guys. If you like my content, like and subscribe, and let's get straight into this video. So first of all, I'll have to show you the backpack, which is the Ninja Bike Messenger Backpack Exotic. You can get this from the general loot pool. If you need it easily, just farm countdown the mode. You'll get this backpack eventually. It's not too hard to get. But the core attributes, you get all three. You get red, blue and skill tier. The mod is 5.9% critical hit chance. And then the talent is resourceful, slots in with any equipped gear set and or brand set. Item, fulfill a requirement towards unlocking a gear set bonus. Can unlock bonuses from multiple sets. So for example, Providence, the first bonus is headshot damage, the second bonus is crit hit chance. If you wear this backpack, you will get the second bonus free. Same with if you run 2-piece Providence, you'll get the third bonus free. If that's clear, that's just an easy way to explain it to you guys. Okay, so our second piece of gear is the mask, and I'm guessing you're quite surprised guys that it's actually aces of 8, the gear set I'm using. I know the damage is not the best in 2-piece or 3-piece, but I reckon this is the best for the weapon I'm using. But yeah, the mask is aces of 8, 2-piece is 15% marksman rifle damage, which is good for our weapon. 3-piece is 30% headshot damage. And the 4th piece is Dead Man's Hand. Flip a card when landing shots with a marksman rifle. After 5 cards are flipped, the damage of your next shot is amplified by 30%, which amplified 30% is a hell of a lot of damage. You could use glass cannon on your chest piece, which well, perfect glass cannon is the Providence piece. You could use that and you'll have 60% amplified damage, which is absolutely insane, but I'm not using that talent. More shots are enhanced the better the hand revealed. 4 of a kind, 4 shots, full house, 3 shots, aces of 8s, 2 shots, flip an additional card on headshots. If you use the other chest piece bonus and backpack bonus, they're not really worth it, but it gives you better cards basically guys. Core attribute is blue, attribute is 7.5% headshot damage, and the mod is 6% critical hit chance. But most of my attributes are not maxed out because I don't have enough materials to do so. But do remember, you can max these stats out and get even more damage. So our second piece of aces of 8s is the holster. Core attribute is a blue, and the attribute is 8.1% headshot damage. And our third and final piece, because we're running ninja, we'll get the 4th piece for free, the 4th bonus, is the knee pads. Blue core and 9.6% headshot damage. You can change this build how you want. I just like running blues with this because of the weapon that you're using. You'll get basically more bonus armor. But you'll see the weapon. That's the final piece of aces of 8s. Knee pads, blue, 9.6% headshot damage attribute. So our next piece of gear is the new brand set. No clue how to pronounce the name of that. I'll just call it Zoo. But 1 piece you get 15% magazine size, which is always good. 2 piece is 20% rifle damage. We have a rifle as a secondary, so that's good. And then 3rd piece is 30% weapon handling, which is very good for sniper builds, shotgun builds, etc. So the core attribute is blue. Attributes are 15% weapon handling and 8% headshot damage, so we have 45% weapon handling just with these gloves. So our second piece of the zoo gear set and the final piece of our gear is this brand set again. So we get 30% weapon handling by running 2-piece because we have ninja. So core attribute is 11.9% weapon damage, but I don't have max stats like I said. Attributes are 6% weapon handling, 4.7% critical hit chance, and the mod is 5.5% crit chance as well. If I were you, I would try and replace weapon handling because you already have enough. Try and replace it with headshot damage, and then you'll have a bit of crit chance, and the mod is crit chance. But the talent I'm using is Headhunter. After killing an enemy with a headshot, your next weapon hit within 30 seconds deals an additional 125% of that killing blow's damage. Damage is capped to 800% of your weapon damage. This is raised to 1250% if your headshot damage is greater than 150%, which ours is like far beyond 150%. It's like near 400%. But that's our full build so far, and this actually hits really hard. I was very surprised on how hard it hits because of how old the gear set is, and the stats compared to like Hotshot and the new rifle set. So the primary weapon that I'm using is actually the Dread Edict exotic marksman rifle. I actually like this gun. I think it's really good. If you can get the right playstyle, you can get good with it. It's good. But the core attributes are 15% marksman rifle damage, 111% headshot damage. I re-rolled the third attribute at the bench for 10% damage to targets out of cover. If you have expertise on this gun and you haven't got damage to targets out of cover, don't worry guys, even if you do re-roll it, you'll still have the expertise on your exotic. So if you want damage to targets out of cover, and you already have expertise on the Dread Edict, it's fine. But the talent is full stop. Shooting enemies builds stacks to a cap of 20. Headshots grant 2 stacks. Each stack grants 2%, so 40% weapon damage, and 5% headshot damage on reload. So 40% weapon damage and 100% headshot damage, which is a hell of a lot of damage on reload. Clear all stacks and gain 5% of your max armor as temp armor for 10 seconds for each stack removed. So we have 1.7 million armor, 5 blues, so we get a hell of a lot of bonus armor if you have to reload, which you don't. Headshot kills with Dread Edict restore all bullets in the magazine. This does not count as a reload, which is good as well because you can stack, and with this gun you can stack like super quick. I do wish that wasn't a thing in the talent. I think the gun would be better. This does not count as a reload because if it did, you'd always have bonus armor and you'd be hard to kill. But unfortunately they added that. So guys, these are the mods you get. You get 15% weapon handling. So we have 60% now because we get 45 from the gloves and we get 15 from this weapon. 15% weapon handling, so that's 60%, which is a hell of a lot of weapon handling, especially with the SVD. It's always been really bad for recoil and accuracy. But with this build, it's actually like super accurate and fast and good. So the secondary, I've decided to use a rifle because I might as well take advantage of the 20% rifle damage. The weapon I went with is Baker's Dozen. You can go with different rifles if you want to, but I thought I'd just use Baker's Dozen. Like my other option would be Perfect Rifleman, the artist tool, but some people don't like that gun. But I'd recommend that. That's a really good gun. Core attribute is 11.9% rifle damage, 16% crit damage, and the attribute is 5% damage to armor. And the talent on this gun is Perfect Lucky Shot. Magazine capacity is increased by 30%, so basically you have 45% because you get 15% from the new brand set. Missed shots from cover have a 100% chance to return to the magazine. Those are the mods I'm using. And then our final piece of the build, well, gear and weapons, is the Orbit pistol. Fortunately, you can only get this from the Dark Zone or named caches, guys. So if you're just wondering how to get this weapon, that's the only way you can get them. Named caches you can easily get with currency from Countdown and buying it from the vendor, but if you like the Dark Zone, you can easily get it if it's targeted loot there. I've got like so many of these weapons, like on all characters usually as well. So the talent is Perfect Finisher. Swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% critical chance and 40% critical damage for 15 seconds. So if you get really good at doing this, like swapping to your pistol, so basically take an enemy's like 90% health off an enemy, just swap to this gun, get a quick kill, and your SVD or any weapon you're using will be max crit chance basically, and you'll have more crit damage as well. so you'll have a lot more damage. Which I think this gun is actually really one of the best pistols in the game. Nowhere near as good as the regulars. And then the first skill I'm using is surprisingly the Tactician Drone. I think it's very underrated, but we're tier 1 because we get a skill tier with the Ninja Backpack, and those are the mods I'm using here. The mods that are not really important because this just scans all the enemies for you. So if you have the Fog of War directive on, you'll be able to see all the enemies anyway, so because the range on the Tactician Drone is ridiculous. Always use this in conflict as well. If you play conflict, just use this because it's basically a constant pulse for like 5 minutes basically. 387 seconds. So the second skill is just decoy. I always use decoy because it basically distracts the enemy so you can get easy headshots for your damage stacks, etc. But we're tier 1 because of the Ninja Backpack, and those are the mods. So this is the quick breakdown, guys. First piece of gear is the mask. Second piece of ace of eights is the holster. Third piece and final piece is the knee pads. Backpack is the Ninja Bite Messenger backpack. Gloves, first piece of the Zoo brand is Eagle's Grasp, the named piece. And our final piece of gear is the chest, which is the Zoo again, and Headhunter. Primary weapon is the Dread Edict marksman rifle. Second weapon is Baker's Dozen, M1A. We have the Orbit as the pistol. And the skills is the Tactician Drone and the Decoy, but you can really pick any skill you want in that slot. But I'll show you the stats now. So these are the stats with this build. We have 42.1% critical hit chance with the Dread Edict and 45% critical hit damage. Do remember you can use the Perfect Finisher from your pistol, which will max your crit chance and give you 40% critical damage, so 85%. And default headshot damage with this build is 249.9% headshot damage. Remember, most of my attributes weren't maxed, so you can have about maybe 260 if you max it out. And remember, when you have full stacks with a Dread Edict, you get 100% headshot damage, so you'll be at 350% basically, 360%, which is a lot of headshot damage. Plus you get that weapon damage as well. That's it. I'll show you the rest of the stats now. I'll just show you the rifle one now. So rifle stats is 37% crit chance and 56% critical damage, 203.9% headshot damage. That is because I've got the sniper scope from the sharpshooter specialization. I'll just scroll down the rest for you now. So the specialization I'm using is, surprise surprise, the sharpshooter. Obviously with a sniper build, use the sharpshooter because of the drone. So one reason we're using the sharpshooter is because of the talent digital scope. You get that for the rifle. It's basically I believe it's 45% headshot damage instead of like 30% on a normal sniper scope. We have 15% increased rifle damage, so we have 35% rifle damage. 15% increased marksman rifle damage. We have 30% now because we get 15% from aces of eights. And we have 15% increased sidearm damage, so that's good for your perfect finisher. We also have round, after 20 seconds in cover, you start generating 5 marksman rifle and 5 rifle ammo every 10 seconds, which is good because we're using a rifle and a marksman rifle. And then we get 15% increased weapon stability, reduced recoil and faster requisition of targets. Breathe control. So this is always good. We already have like 50% weapon handling, and we have this as well. We also have 15% increased headshot damage with rifles and marksman rifles. Allows for precision shots, precision kills. And one of the main reasons as well is that we get the drone Tactician, which basically just shows you all the enemies around you from like 10 miles. which is just ridiculous. It's a good skill. It was one of the best skills in my opinion for sniping anyway. It's good in PvP as well. I wouldn't recommend this build in PvP. I did try it in conflict, and it was pretty hard, like, to get my shots on because people going left and right doing the chicken dance. But PVE, I would actually recommend this build. Surprisingly, aces of 8s. It's really good with the SVD. I wouldn't recommend it with like an M700, like an actual bolt action sniper. I'd recommend hot shot with that, or a high end build. With a lot of people do headhunter and determined. I do find it pretty boring now. This is why I made this build. I do have headhunter on this build, but I don't use determined, which is kind of refreshing. Not using that because it's pretty boring, just one shot on everything, in my opinion. But let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of this build. I believe it's actually pretty decent. I've been using it the last few days, last 3 days, 4 days. So I thought I'd show yous, so yous can have a little try of this build instead of doing headhunter and determined. That's completely up to you though. But let me know if you've got an iteration of this type of build and how you run it in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and happy hunting.